Morning, YouTubeistas. How's it going today? It's the 22nd. I got up pretty early, and I didn't sleep a lot. I had YouTube going for one thing. I was listening. What was I listening to? Some UFO stuff, I think. That's a genre I sometimes sample. I sample a lot of different genres of YouTube. Anyway, why I got up early was I was going to show up, and I did show up as a talking head in a classroom somewhere in Illinois, maybe. And so what's still on my screen is left over from the short talk I gave. We're going to try it again next week because this was a test. It worked to a degree, and I was talking about how the modern Python has this kind of a look, this anaconda look. Actually, I think DARPA dumped some money into this through Continuum Analytics, which is historically connected to Python's history, and that Guido himself applied for a DARPA grant called CP4E, Computer Programming for Everybody. And, Python of all the languages has done a good job moving in that direction of bringing programming to everybody. So I had all this stuff queued up to talk to the kids today. This was computer class. Anyway, what else do I want to talk about now that I'm here, right? So I wanted to talk about Tulsi Gabbard, the Hawaiian congresswoman who is running for president. Now I want to talk about how that's a good workout. So regardless of whether she becomes president or not, which I think unlikely for a couple of reasons. Number one is because she's too smart and too unconnected to crime. My view, and it's not a popular view, and I don't expect you to go along with me, is that you really need close ties to organized crime to be a president, and you have to be something of a criminal. I think that's, drives the FBI crazy, but you really can't be president unless you've got a lot of kind of underground connections. Certainly Nixon had that, and he inherited it from when he was vice president. And I won't talk about how each and every president, except Jimmy Carter, had sort of a mafia. Let's just take that as a given. I don't think Tulsi has a mafia, but she's still getting this workout of running, and I also think it's useful for the public discourse to have somebody who's not Christian running, because we have a long history in the United States of always Christians as president, and people pretended like Obama was not Christian. They flirted with this idea he was Muslim. It was kind of titillating for a lot of people to do some of these fantasies. And here we'd have a real opportunity, not just make-believe. And I don't think we're probably ready for that. The workout, though, is going to make Tulsi attractive at a lot of levels. So she doesn't have to have president in her title to have a bright future. She could, I think we were told she was being considered for UN ambassador. That would have been a pretty interesting choice with the Trump administration instead of Nikki Haley, who, I could say a lot about things, but let me just end with this question. The common wisdom I seem to hear a lot about these days is that if you don't totally control your borders, you're not really a country. And that's why we need to have a wall and everything. But let's just back up and just look at that logic. We've never had that. Most countries don't. It's a bureaucratic convenience if we could all have chips implanted, and anytime we cross the border we're not supposed to, some light went off and a drone could come after us or whatever. It'd be very convenient for the bureaucrats if the game of nation states were as locked down and as tight as they imagine it could be with high tech. But we've never quite had that. Under Nazi Germany, maybe. I mean, with tabulation machines and IBM and so on, and tagging everybody, and tattoos and stuff, we were starting to move in this direction of where we could really clamp down and make everybody finally either pay by the rules or be punished. And I see that that's where people want to go with this nation state thing. Really lock it down. But let's admit that it never has been locked down like that. And the U.S. never has had that kind of control of its borders. So by the same logic, then the U.S. has never really been a country, right? Because if you say that you need total control to be a country, and you don't have total control, then you're not really a country by that reasoning. So we're trying to get to be a country by that definition. We never have been. There's never been such a country, and we want there to be. So if we don't succeed, it's not that we're saying goodbye. This adios America thing is like, oh, well, then we'll lose our country. No, you just said that we don't have a country, so there's nothing to lose in that sense. Just wanted to do the logic around that. I'm not saying I'm running for president on any of this. I don't think that would work. In fact, I could say other things where you would say, well, he's not running for president, and you'd be right. Anyway, just wanted to talk a little bit with y'all, and hope you have a great Friday. Talk to you later.